Well, thank you for coming to our community. So my name is Josh Green. I have an interest twofold in proceedings today. We do appreciate very much that you've come. As state senator, I have some policy and process questions, and my other hat is I'm an emergency room physician here in the community, so I do, as a full-time doctor, still take care of people, and I'd like to start with the health concerns that I have. I can't speak to the specific statistics, but we have heard that we have clusters of cancers here in West Hawaii, and what I'd like to do is ask you to spend some time communicating with our Director of Health, Chiomi Fukino, to best get that information to see if that will impact, I guess, the scope of the license that you give. I have a quick question. Just from a procedural standpoint, how do our public comments impact your decision about licensure? What's the process? Would you ask them to amend it if something has come up tonight or tomorrow in conversation that you think wasn't adequate? Or is it kind of a thumbs up or thumbs down? How does that work?
In the past, I can give you an example from the past. What we gain from these meetings is insight in two ways. One, the feelings and concerns of the local community. But in many instances, we gain information that we didn't know existed otherwise. And it's not the fault of the applicant. There's a lot of information out there, and sometimes they're not aware of it. So we use all of that, and we'll take the record back and study that record, and the information that the gentleman cited, we'll use that too. So it all feeds into our review.
The Army was unaware of the depleted uranium, or so they said, completely up until 2 years ago. So I think you'll have to understand if we suspend our level of confidence in their capacity to tell you, because your map, as you said, was all blue if it's Hawaii, but it was only blue with no depleted uranium until the Davy Crockett shells were utilized. Another concern I have, I guess I'll end on this concern because I'm sure a lot of my points will be reiterated by our community members, and I think this is very important to the process that you're going through, and that's in public hearings at the Capitol over the last 2 years, in discussions with the military. They've been very respectful and pretty forthcoming with information that I've asked about since the discovery was acknowledged. Up at Pohakuloa, they still are doing bombing runs. They're still dropping 2,000-pound dummy bombs into the site. And because it's unclear how many rounds were ever fired, I know that that's come out in discussion. We don't know exactly how many shells are out there. And they continue to drop the 2,000-pound bombs. It may not be just a hurricane that disperses some material, harmful or not. It could be a large bomb that hits it, and from the documents that you provided us, we know that at 600 degrees centigrade, that's going to be ignited, I think is the word that's here. So my concern is that if they're able to continue to do their bombing exercises, how can we have a legitimate and meaningful regulation of this site? Because it's a very dynamic site. And I'll close with, it was mentioned by the gentleman right before that you would come and observe if there was some concern that was going on, such as someone not doing a fair or accurate monitoring, or you had other violations or concerns that might come from a regulatory standpoint. But with such a dynamic site, it stands to reason, without a very clear map of where the actual depleted uranium is, there probably is going to have to be some pretty significant oversight unless they're willing to stop the bombing entirely until this whole issue is resolved. So if you could take that up, we'd be very grateful.